Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Gabe Strong, a DP and video producer based in Juneau, Alaska. Here I am moving all my gear in for yet another multi-camera live stream setup. Now if you have the budget and the crew to have multiple camera operators each running the camera for you, these aren't too hard. But when you're trying to do one by yourself, it's a little bit different. Now in an earlier video I took a quick look at how I do these live streams, but in this video I'm going to go in depth and show you step by step how to do a one-man band live stream complete with multiple cameras and animated graphics. So let's take a look at how I pull off these live streams by myself. So you will need a piece of software to take the video from your cameras, encode it, and broadcast it live to the web. There are several options you can use, including vMix, OBS, or the software I use, which is made by Telestream and is called Wirecast. This software can do all sorts of things, and we will be taking a look at some of its abilities in this video. So there's a variety of ways to get video into Wirecast. The first way I'm going to talk about is using a capture card. Capture cards bring video into your computer via HDMI or SDI. You can use an external capture card or an internal capture card if you have a desktop, but as I have a laptop, I'm using an external capture card. There's a variety of these capture cards from Magewell, BlackMagic, and ElGato. These capture cards will let you bring in professional video cameras or DSLRs. Anything that has an HDMI or SDI output can be brought into your computer. Moreover, you don't have to just hook one of these up. You can hook two or more cameras up and switch back and forth between the two cameras using Wirecast as a video switcher. Another option is to hook up several cameras to an ATEM Mini and pre-switch the cameras and bring them into Wirecast. Wirecast will see the ATEM Mini as one source, and you will switch on the switcher itself instead of in Wirecast. Now from a solo operator's point of view, there's one thing wrong with either one of these options, and that is that you need camera operators if you ever want to change any of the shots on any of your cameras. Well, when you're a one-man crew and you don't have camera operators, what is another option? The best option is probably using NDI to hook up multiple PTZ cameras, which you can then control with a joystick. And here I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'll post links to the gear I used in the description field of this video. First of all, we'll need a POE switch. POE means that one Ethernet cord delivers video signal from your camera to the computer, power from the switch to the camera, and control of the camera to the joystick controller. We'll also need a Thunderbolt 4 dock from OWC to give us a bunch of extra ports to hook up everything that we need for this live stream. We will need some way to bring audio into the computer. This is a Behringer USB audio interface, which allows us to bring audio in from a dedicated audio mixer. A StreamDeck, while it's not essential, is really nice because you can use it as both a switcher to switch between your different cameras, and you can bring in animated graphics and titles with it, and I'll show you how to do that later. You'll also need a couple PTZ cameras and a joystick controller to control these PTZ cameras. For purposes of this demonstration, I'm also going to use an external capture card to hook my Sony FX6 up so that I'll have 3 different camera sources. So here's a look at the OWC Thunderbolt dock and what I plugged into each port. And here's what goes into each port on the POE switch. And here's how I set up the audio interface. the PTZ cameras, and the joystick controller. A StreamDeck and an external keyboard and mouse are connected to the OWC Thunderbolt dock. A Thunderbolt to Ethernet adapter is connected to a second Thunderbolt port on the laptop. I want to keep all broadcast traffic separate from my internet connection, so my PoE switch is only for the cameras and the joystick controller. The high-speed internet line to stream the video out on connects to this external adapter. Next, let's get the joystick controller and the PTZ cameras communicating with each other. First, you'll have to open a free app from PTZ Optics. Go to the Settings menu and choose Multi-Camera Settings. In the box that pops up, you will enter IP addresses for both cameras 1 and 2, which correspond to the two PTZ cameras. I'm not an IT expert, but basically, the cameras and joystick controller need to all be in the same range. The first 3 sets of digits should be the same. I didn't want these to be anywhere close to my actual network settings for connecting to the internet, so I changed the default IP addresses. I entered the following IP addresses. Camera 1, 169.254.150.10, and Camera 2, 169.254.150.11. Now we need to go into the joystick controller and add those IP addresses for each of the PTZ cameras. We will add a device here, and then we will enter the IP address for camera 1, and camera 2. Then we will go into Setup, and we will set up the IP address on the joystick controller. So let's take a look at this whole setup. I've got a capture card running to my FX6, an Ethernet line running to PTZ camera 1 looking out my front window, and another Ethernet line running to PTZ camera number 2 looking out my son's bedroom window. Now let's go into Wirecast. We're going to start things off by adding the audio interface. Now Wirecast works with layers much like Photoshop or most NLEs. I'm going to put the audio on the bottom layer because we want the audio to be present at all times. Now on layer 2, I'm going to start adding my visual sources. Wirecast allows you to add pre-recorded media files. In this case, we're going to add a still because every live stream needs bars. Now this still doesn't have the correct aspect ratio for my project, so I'm going to just scale it up and send it live. Now let's bring in a pre-recorded video. We'll add another source, choose the video, and it will be imported on layer 2. This allows you to cut away from live cameras to pre-recorded videos that your viewers can watch. Speaking of live cameras, now let's start to go add in our live sources. Any video that you want to bring in via a capture card will be found under the Video Sources tab. And there's the capture card that has the FX6 on it. Next, let's bring in the PTZ cameras. Now these are not connected via HDMI or SDI to a capture card. Instead, they're connected on the network. So we're going to have to go into the Network tab to find the PTZ cameras. So there's PTZ camera 1 and PTZ camera 2. I'm going to take quick screenshots of the view that each camera sees for use with the StreamDeck. Next, we're going to start up the StreamDeck software and drag the screenshots I just took with a view of each camera on them to a button on the StreamDeck. I will then map each button to the corresponding camera. This one is the FX6 shot. I will then repeat the process for PTZ cameras 1 and 2. These pictures are mapped to the physical LED buttons on the StreamDeck, and when you press a button, the corresponding camera is selected into preview in Wirecast and ready to be taken live. Finally, let's add some animated graphics and titles. To do that, we're going to use a piece of software called NewBlue Titler Live. I'm going to select 4 pre-made animated graphic templates to bring into our broadcast. Now let's go back over into Wirecast to bring these animated graphics in. Now we want these animated graphics to show up over the top of the video, so we'll add them on the layer above the video layer. We'll add a source. These sources will be found under the Network tab. These are NDI sources because they are on the network even though they're on the same computer. However, we have a little bit of a problem here. We want to bring in 4 separate animated graphics. We are already using level 1 in Wirecast for audio and level 2 for camera sources. There are 5 levels in Wirecast, which leaves us with only 3 available levels. Luckily, Wirecast allows you to nest levels inside levels, which basically gives you an unlimited number of levels that you can use in Wirecast. Here we'll nest all 4 animated graphics inside one graphics level. I then map each of these 4 animated titles to a button on the StreamDeck. So now we have the StreamDeck set up with 4 animated graphics and 3 cameras that you can call up all with just the touch of a button. Here you can see me switching between the 3 different camera shots I have. And with just the touch of a button, I can bring in animated graphics as well. And I can change the shot with the joystick controller. So that's a look at how I pull off multicam live streams as a single operator. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.